In life, we've seen within this part of the world great people like Alcazazmi, who invented algorithm. Globally, Newton, Harry Ford, the Wright brothers, Albert Einstein, and Elon Musk. See, you are in rush. You want to go to places that nobody has been. You are reinventing a certain industry, from the rocket industry with SpaceX to the car industry with Tesla. What's your life mission? Why do you do whatever you do? Sure, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm having a really great time with my kids in Dubai. It's really been fantastic and encouraged who invited me to visit. What a great city. Thank you. And in terms of motivations, I used to like this sort of kind of long version of explanation, but essentially, when I was a kid, I was wondering what's the meaning of life, like why are we here, what is it all about, and I came to the conclusion that what really matters is trying to understand the right questions to ask. And the more we can increase the scope and scale of human consciousness, the better we are able to ask these questions. And so I think there are certain things that are necessary to ensure that future is good. And some of those things are, in the long term, having long-term sustainable transport and sustainable energy generation, and to be a space exploring civilization, and for humanity to be out there among the stars in the multi-planetary species. I think that being multi-planetary species, for being out there among the stars, is important for the long-term survival of humanity. And that's one reason, kind of like life insurance for life collectively, life as we know it. But then the part that I find personally most motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure, and it makes people excited about the future. And if consider two futures, one where we are forever confined to Earth until eventually something terrible happens, or another future where we are out there on many planets, maybe even go beyond the solar system, I think that the space invasion is incredibly exciting and inspiring, and there need to be reasons to get up in the morning. Life can just be about solving problems, otherwise, what's the point? There's got to be things that people find inspiring and make life worth living. So, what is life for you? I mean, you look at our life, and I heard you before speaking. Is this a dream? Is it real? Is it a million deal? What is life for Elon Musk? I find that as I get older, I find the question to be maybe more confusing or troubling or uncertain, and particularly when you see the advancements of something like video games. That 40 years ago, you had video games. The most advanced video game would be like Pong, where you have two rectangles and a dot, and you're like battling it back and forth. I played it. Yeah, me too, exactly. That's all. It sort of days you live a little bit. Yeah, we both played the same game, and that was like a pretty fun game at the time. But now you can see a video game that's so photorealistic, almost photorealistic, and millions of people playing simultaneously. And you see where things are going with virtual reality and augmented reality, and if you extrapolate that out into the future with any rate of process at all, like keeping 0.1% of something like that a year, then eventually those games will be indistinguishable from reality. They're so realistic, like that game in reality we know it. And then it seems like, well, how do we know that it didn't happen in the past and that we're not in one of those games ourselves? Interesting. I mean, could be. Everything is possible in life. I mean, particularly like things tend to be accelerating to something, isn't it? I mean, if you look at our life, it seems in the past 100 years, life has been accelerating quite fast, faster and faster. It's more slow. So my question is really, how will life be 20, 30, 15 from now? Our education, our transport. How do you see it? Well, I think it's one of those things that are quite difficult to predict. Like you think of, say, the first controlled power flight was in 1903 with the White brothers, and then 66 years later, we put the first people on the moon. I mean, if you ask people, say in 1900, what are the odds of landing on the moon, they would say that's ridiculous. If you try to talk to them about the internet, they wouldn't know what the heck you're moon. What you're talking about, like, this sounds so crazy. But today, with $100 device, you can video a conference with anyone in the world on the other side of the world, or if you have like a Wi-Fi connection, is basically free. You're free to have instant visual communication with anyone, or even with millions of people. You know, with social media, you can communicate with millions of people simultaneously. So, and you can Google something and ask any question, like an oracle of wisdom, and they can ask most questions and get an instant response. It would be incredibly difficult to predict these things in the past, even the relatively recent past. So I think the one thing that I can quite certain of is that any predictions we make today for what the future will be like in 50 years will be wrong. That's for sure. I think literally, I can tell you what I hope the future has, as opposed to maybe what it will be. It may just be wishful thinking. And I mean, I hope we're out there on Mars, or maybe beyond Mars, or Jupiter. I hope we're traveling frequently throughout the solar system, perhaps preparing for missions to nearby star systems. I think all of that is possible in 50 years. And I think it's going to be very exciting to do that. And I think we'll see autonomy and artificial intelligence advance tremendously. Like, that's actually quite near term. My guess is in probably 10 years, it will be very unusual for cars to be built that are not fully autonomous. 10 years from now. I think almost all cars built will be able for autonomy in about 10 years. And it is the Tesla cars that are made today have the sensor system necessary for full autonomy, and we think properly enough compute power to be safer than a person. So it's mostly just a question of developing the software and uploading the software. It turns out that more compute power is needed. We can easily upgrade the computer, and so that's all Teslas built in October last year. And other manufacturers follow and do the same thing. So getting the car will be like getting an elevator. You just tell it where to go, and it takes you there with extreme levels of safety, and that would be normal. That would just be normal. Well, like for elevators, there used to be elevator operators. Get in, there will be a guy moving a lever. Now you just get in, you press the button, and just taken for granted. Autonomy will be widespread. I think one of the most troubling questions is artificial intelligence. I don't mean narrow AI like vehicle autonomy. I would put in a narrow AI class. It's narrowly trying to achieve a certain function. But deep artificial intelligence, or what is sometimes called artificial general intelligence, we can have AI is much smarter than the smartest human on Earth. This, I think, is a dangerous situation. Why is it dangerous? I mean, there are two views. One view is artificial intelligence will have humanity, and there's another school of thought that artificial intelligence is a threat to humanity. What is that? I think it's both. It's like one way to think of it is imagine we're going to be visited. Imagine you're very confident and we're going to be visited by super intelligent aliens in, let's say, 10 years or 20 years in the most. Super intelligent. So you think within 20 years we have aliens on Earth? Well, digital super intelligence will be like an alien. It will be like an alien. But my question is, do you think there is other intelligent life outside the Earth? It seems probable. I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy. Where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us. I don't know. Some people think I'm an alien. Not true. But maybe we are aliens. Maybe we are aliens. I mean, if you look at this part of the world, yeah, they believe that human beings are not from Earth. They came somewhere else. Eve and Adam came from somewhere else to Earth. So in a way, human beings are aliens to this land. Do you think we make contact with aliens within the next 50 years? Well, that's a really tough one to say.